classification. I gave you the properties of vegetation, the height of the tree, nature of the leaves, nature of the bark, deciduous character, canopy size, leaf size, every parameter I gave you. On the basis of the properties, we classify the vegetation. So here there are the two important parameters which influence the properties of the vegetation. Most important is the climatic parameter. Climatic parameters. One is the moisture in the form of rainfall, and the temperature. These moisture in the soil moisture, present in the soil, how much moisture is available. The soil moisture is determined by the amount of rain area received. So on the basis of this, the climatic parameter, if I classify on the basis of amount of rain, on the amount of rainfall, I think I explained earlier also, rainfall. If I say this is up to 50 centimeter line, this is say 75 meter ISO height. And say this is 100 centimeter, this is 150 centimeter, and this is you can say 200 centimeter and plus. If it is like this, if it is less than 25 centimeter, there is 25 centimeter. This is only desert. In desert only cactus can survive. No vegetation, you can say, if it is no vegetation in true sense. But if it is 25 to 50 centimeter, only grasses are there. Grasses may be tropical grass, grasses may be temperate grass. You may be knowing the name of the temperate grass, all pampas or prairies, steppes, pustas, Canterbury, veld, downs, all these are the temperate grass. Tropical means savanna grassland, llanos grassland. Even in India, in the margins of Aravalli Hills, we have the tropical grassland. We don't have the forest in true sense. We have the, so this is the range. When the temperature is, amount of rainfall is more than 50 centimeter, the nature of vegetation becomes, with stunted vegetation, a kind of mixed vegetation, mixed with grasses plus deciduous trees. Not deciduous, thorny trees. Lesser the amount of the moisture available in the soil, the more the thorny nature of vegetation. So grasses and thorny vegetation. Once the amount of rainfall increases beyond this 75 centimeter, we have the deciduous vegetation. Deciduous means it is deciduous is umbrella shaped vegetation, and this is different sized vegetation, and here in this thorny vegetation is, thorny vegetation is like this. Always thorny trees are like this. They have like this. Top is flat and it is like triangular cities. Say acacia, or the Acacia nilotica, Acacia indicus, Acacia arabica. So different type of acacia, we used to say bubble tree. Top becomes flat, but in deciduous trees, top is domal, it's umbrella shaped. And the big canopy, this is the comparatively lesser dense canopy. Here leaves are more waxy and leathery. Here leaf size become bigger, and this is dense vegetation. This is, we can say, moist deciduous. moist deciduous. And this is when amount of rainfall increases more than 50 centimeter. Here dense canopy cover, dense canopy with evergreen, more variety of trees, more variety of tree species or trees, and lesser ground vegetation. Ground vegetation means grasses. When the top canopy would be dense, sunlight will not penetrate on the surface, so surface vegetation or the lesser ground vegetation, the grasses will not survive. Sunlight जब नीचे नहीं जाएगी तो grasses कैसे होंगी? And this is wet evergreen rainforest, you can say rainforest. So as the amount of rainfall is increasing, the nature or the density, nature of forest also changes. So this is the one. Here we have the maximum variety of trees and maximum biodiversity, both flora and fauna, and including all kind of microbes and the mosses and lichens and everything. More the amount of rainfall, more the amount, higher the temperature, we have the maximum biodiversity. So equatorial rainforest have the maximum biodiversity in the world. Near the equator we have the maximum biodiversity. So when we move away from the equator, amount of rainfall decreases, the diversity also decreases. So this is one simple relationship how the rainfall influence. The temperature also influence. This is only the parameter of, with increasing amount of rainfall, nature of vegetation also changes. Like in India, as we move from coastal region to the continental region, nature of vegetation also changes on the basis of rainfall. The amount of temperature decreases when we increases the height, or temperature decreases when we move away from the equator. But in Indian condition, India have the tropical and subtropical climate. So therefore our temperature, if we compare the temperature with altitude in the Himalayan region, when the temperature increases, so with increasing height of the Himalayas, so here we have in the foothills we have the grasses and the thorny vegetation here, and then we have the deciduous vegetation, all sal and the people and the neem trees are there, and teak is there. Then we have the mixed vegetation, so we have this mixed, this and this, and then we have the only temperate vegetation, conical. Then height of the conical increases, and till a certain limit, but beyond this temperature becomes very cold and worse for that. So this is the most suitable temperature for the growth of the trees. Then beyond this limit, height of the tree decreases, and at a certain limit, height of trees are less. So you can see lesser height of the tree become more and more, the maximum height. Then after a certain limit, temperature becomes more adverse, height of the tree decreases. So the density of the trees are also. More the height, more the density. Means closed canopy, closed forests are there. They are more sparse. They are found in clumps, in patches. Some of the areas lying vacant. So lesser the height means most adverse conditions are there. So they find suitable temperature for lesser number of days in a year. They find suitable temperature almost round the year. That's why they have the luxuriant growth. So these are the two parameters I wanted to share: moisture and temperature, how they influence the nature of vegetation. Now come over to the different types of vegetation. I hope it is clear to you, all the aspects of this. Now the different types of vegetation. In India, Because of the geographical location and a subcontinental character of the country, we have the different climatic conditions, that is called monsoonal climatic conditions. And our monsoonal climatic conditions they give a particular shape. That monsoonal climatic condition gives a particular shape to the vegetation of India. We have broadly we can say there are the two types of vegetation. One is the broadleaf vegetation. We have 93% of the total vegetation is broadleaf vegetation in India. And another is the needle leaf vegetation. Needle leaf, only 7% is the needle leaf vegetation. Or you can say all broadleaf is basically you can say tropical climate, and 7% is the temperate climate. So this is, you can say, tropical climate, and this is temperate climate. Temperate, tropical is also known as hardwood vegetation. Hardwood vegetation, and this is also known as softwood vegetation. So we have two types of vegetation. Now come over to the classification. Classification number one is the tropical vegetation, and another is temperate vegetation. And in tropical we have two types of tropical. Tropical moist and tropical dry. For further clarification, tropical moist, which have more rain amount of water, if the amount of rainfall is more than 125 centimeter, or generally we used to say 100 centimeter and plus comes under this category, and less than 100, less than 100 centimeter rainfall is kept in this category, tropical dry. Now tropical moist, there are the different type of tropical moist. Number one is tropical evergreen rainforests. Tropical evergreen rainforests. Tropical means climate, means temperature. The basic difference in tropical and temperate. What is the difference? How we determine this area is tropical and this area is temperate? Always there is a monthly average temperature. There is always a monthly average temperature. If the coldest month or you can say average temperature of coldest month remains above 18 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of the coldest month remains average temperature, average means average of maximum and minimum. Maximum, suppose nowadays, what is the maximum temperature? Sometimes it goes to 27 degrees Celsius. Minimum, it comes to 11 degrees Celsius. Say 10 degrees Celsius at night. So what is this is the maximum temperature, this is the minimum temperature. So it is 37. So divide by 2. What is so 17.5 degrees Celsius. So this is the coldest month. So in Delhi, we doesn't fall in tropical climate. We fall in subtropical climate. We have a short season. So the tropical is one when the average temperature of the coldest month. This is the temperature of a day. This is average temperature of one day. We take the average temperature of whole month. Sigma n divided by total number of days. Sigma x divided by n. So when it is all these 30 months, then we will find out the average temperature of a month. So on the basis of this, so tropical is the one, and temperate is when the warmest temperature of any region, when the warmest temperature of a region, warmest temperature of the month, you can say in the hottest month, never crosses above 18 degrees Celsius. वो 18 सबसे गर्म महीना भी 18 डिग्री सेल्सियस से नीचे रहता है, that is called temperate. So this is generally a basic difference. So that's why we use tropical. Evergreen means they remain green round the year. It doesn't mean they are not shedding their leaves. They are shedding their leaves, but they have more number of varieties. And it is rainforest. They are controlled by rain. So there is rain round the year, every day, from 4 to 6 p.m. or 3 to 7 p.m. always round the year in the evening. There is the rain, so it is near the equator. And second is tropical, you can say moist deciduous. And third is mangroves. And there is another category that is called tropical moist. Tropical moist, here we can put tropical, dry, evergreen. This is very confusing terminology. Dry and evergreen. Sometimes it happens. This happens in India. Now come over to the tropical evergreen rainforest. Let's discuss this one. Tropical evergreen rainforests. Should I dictate some of the properties? Okay. Tropical evergreen rainforests are similar to equatorial rainforests. They receive rainfall more than 200 centimeters. This is the area where rainfall is, I can say, tropical, say rainfall 200 centimeter and plus. Latitude it is almost from say 5 degree north to 25 degree north sometimes. And location is islands, equatorial islands. Equatorial islands means like Andaman Nicobar Islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And wind facing slopes. Wind facing slopes of Western Ghats and Purvanchals. So this is the reason all these are, you can say in the continuity, they are the broadleaf vegetation. This is maximum variety of trees. This is, they looks like green canopy, green carpet. Green carpet means there is the continuity of vegetation. There is no barren patch. Everywhere there is the, from the sky, from the bird eye view, if we glance the region, it looks like a green carpet. And they have canopy. Canopy is upper 1/3 canopy. Upper 1/3 canopy means, suppose this is the tree here. So this is the tree, the main trunk, upper 1/3 have the leaves. So this and this, lower 2/3 is free from branches. So canopy is, this is the canopy, only 1/3. So main lower portion is free from branches because sunlight is not penetrating. So branches could not survive. So only every branch goes towards the sun to acquire more and more food because leaves are the food factory, as I said earlier. So they are the kitchen to make the more and more food. So height is, so they have 3 layers. 3 layers. All tropical evergreen rainforest in India have 3 layers. Layer 1 is up to 100 feet. Layer 2 is up to 50 feet. And layer 3 is up to 25 feet. If you see the number of trees, 80% of the trees have this much of layer. They constitute this much of layer. Upper layer, and 15% of the trees constitute the second layer, and approximately 5% trees constitute the lower layer. Because when, suppose this is the 100 feet, suppose if I say this is 100 feet, the second is, say it is 50 feet, and the third is 25 feet. So this is 50 feet. This is 25 feet height. So always there are the 3 layers. So always the more number of trees. Trees are basically. You can see which trees are dominating. Actually these trees, upper layer, they doesn't allow sun rays to penetrate on the surface. So the lower layer trees are lesser in number. So trees which could gain the height, maximum height beyond 75 feet, 80 feet, 90 feet, they could survive, and its growth of these trees are less because they are not getting sufficient sunlight. So groundwater table, ground surface vegetation, I mean grasses, are completely absent because sunlight is not penetrating on the surface. Simultaneously, surface always remains muddy because every day there is the rain, and the trees are always covered with mosses, lichens, ferns. You know, सभी पेड़ों पे काई रहती है हर समय. Some thick layer of the mosses and lichens generally used to develop around the trees. So trunks are covered. This is apart from that, most important character of this equatorial tropical evergreen rainforest is that they have the parasites. Maximum variety, I said, variety is the maximum variety of trees. Every tree is of different type. Different type, some trees, can you name some trees? Like mahogany, ebony, Brazil nut, oak, oak, or toon. So every tree is of different type. So there is the maximum number of variety. In 1 hectare of land, suppose if we take 1 hectare of land, average randomly anywhere, we have more than 2,400 plant species in 1 hectare. 1 hectare plot. See, in 1 hectare plot, if we have more than 2,000 types of plants, small and big, or all different type of vegetation, you can see how much varieties of trees are there. And this is all variety, and they have the parasites. Parasites, there are the 2 type of parasite. One is called lianas and another is called epiphytes. Epiphyte and lianas, I can say parasites. Parasites, those are having their root on the surface. They have their own symbiotic process. They take their food on the surface, like vines, like vines. For sunlight they reach on the top of the tree. Sunlight के लिए roots are here on the surface, but they keep climbing the tree. They take the physical support of the tree and they make their own food. They make their own food. They just take physical support of the tree. When they take the physical support, such type of vegetation is known as epiphytes. These are the epiphytes. So only they take physical support of the tree. Sometimes they kill the tree. Sometimes they doesn't allow. जब यहाँ इस ट्री के ऊपर सब जगह पैरासाइट की लीव्स छा जाएंगी तो what will happen? This tree sometimes feel incapable to manufacture its own food. Sometimes the host tree generally used to die, and or sometimes there is the competition. Generally, parasites always are in better position to take the food because they have fast growing capacity. So they are the straight trunks and they have the vines. Some vines are 500 feet long. 100 feet tall tree, 500 feet long vine. Keep climbing on the tree, top of the tree. So these they take physical support. They are called epiphytes. But some parasites they take full support for symbiotic support also. They extract food from the tree itself. They are making their own food. They have their own root. They are making their own food. But sometimes they are on the trees. Sometimes you must be glancing a people on the neem tree. One tree is on the another tree. They are taking food from that another tree. They are physically dependent. They are dependent for their food, for moisture, for everything. They are dependent on the host tree. Such type of vegetation is known as lianas. So they have epiphytes, and lianas are in abundance. So they have variety of tall trees, small trees, medium-sized trees, parasites, lianas, epiphytes, and all types of creepers. Basically they found, because I said the variety is maximum. Maximum variety means they have all type of trees. So these, and from the sky if we see, they look like green carpet. If I construct the map of India, where they found in India, so the area which receive more than 200 centimeter rainfall, only the wind facing slopes, of India. So this is the reason. These forests generally spread over in India. They in a small patches. Less than almost 8% of the total geographical area they covered, spread over less than 8% of the geographical area. So this is the wind facing slope. Some wind facing slopes are here around Visakhapatnam. They are also like, and some forests are also in Purvanchal, in southern Shillong Plateau, southern slopes of Shillong Plateau, in Purvanchal also. This is, and all Andaman Nicobar Islands. Partly sometimes in Lakshadweep, but basically this. One, Shillong, Purvanchal, Andaman, Western Ghats, and parts of Eastern Ghats around Visakhapatnam region. Around Mahendragiri Hills and all, because they make the wind facing arrangement. So this area receive sufficient amount of rain. So this is the reason here, the long rainy season. They don't have the rain round the year. I said they have the rain. They should have the long rainy season and short dry season. I should write a property. Amount of rain, long rainy and short dry. This is the one type of vegetation, tall vegetation. Here grass is humus. This area is humus rich region, but soil remains very poor because of the regular leaching, fast leaching. Nutrients are also washed out from the